Have you ever wondered why there are no poplar trees in Lownsdale and Chapman Squares in Portland, Oregon? Probably not. That is a very specific thing to wonder about. Perhaps you, though, have wondered whether or not sidewalks could ever be controversial, and the answer to that one is definitely yes. I'm Catherine McNair. I'm a history professor at Portland State University, and I've been doing research on Portland's parks to prepare for a new course I'm teaching this spring called Parks in Portland. And I wanted to share some of the strange things I've found with you. Do you know Harvey Scott? His was a statue at the top of Mount Tabor that was toppled in 2020. He was the rather conservative editor of the Oregonian newspaper, and Harvey Scott hated poplar trees. In 1901, the city councilman wanted to put sidewalks in around the plaza blocks, or Lownsdale and Chapman Square, and it was incredibly controversial. In general, people wanted sidewalks. Portland is a muddy town in the winter without them, but putting in sidewalks meant cutting down trees. The city didn't have a ton of parks at this time, and these two squares were really popular for their shade trees, particularly in the heat. Harvey Scott, though, he couldn't wait to get those poplar trees down. His offices were located just a couple blocks away, and he regularly walked through the squares. And he argued that the city should do what it could to keep the maples, the elms, chestnuts, the honey locusts even, but it should wield the axe when it came to the poplars. Poplars are a tree that has come in and out of fashion. And in the 1820s and 1830s in the United States, Lombardy poplars were incredibly fashionable. They were a popular sidewalk tree in many East Coast cities. They grew quickly and they grew tall, and so that was what made them really attractive. When the city started planting trees in these squares in Lownsdale and Chapman, they included many poplars in their plans. But as with fads, what comes in style ultimately will go out of style. And by 1901, when Portland was having this debate over sidewalks in the plaza blocks, poplars were going out of style, particularly in the eyes of Harvey Scott, who had a loud voice in the city thanks to his newspaper. He wrote, "They must go." Other Portlanders disagreed and wrote to the newspaper and the representatives calling for the city to save the trees. Ellis Stearns wrote, "Can Portland afford to lose one of its most prominent features of beauty, say nothing of comfort, by the cutting away of her shade trees?" Others suggested that the city be more creative with where they put their sidewalks so both could coexist. They argued that it was short-sighted to cut down trees that had taken so long to grow. Ultimately, that didn't happen, and many of the trees came down, including the poplars. Many of us probably don't pay attention to the trees that are in parks and those that aren't, in this case, like the poplars. But inasmuch as tree species come in and out of style, they tell a story not just about trees and parks, but also about Portlanders too.